Each and every Monday is $9 Monday at WagerTalk.com. All daily picks packages are priced at only $9, including $40 5% best bets. As an added bonus, all new users will receive $25 in WagerBucks credited to their accounts, available for immediate use after their initial $9 Monday purchase. So make sure to take advantage of $9 Mondays at WagerTalk.com.
All right, guys, and welcome in. It is time for a new week. That means a new NBA tip-off show powered by WagerTalk.com. Just an absolute loaded card in the association here tonight, as we have 8 left in college hoops, but we got plenty going on in the association. 4 games, in fact, we're going to break down for you here today. Let's take a look at them. We're going to talk about this Celtics-New Orleans game, which has been all over the map. The Miami Heat are looking to win 1 game in the next 3 months. We'll see if they can do it tonight against the Knicks. We've got the Milwaukee Bucks taking on the Clippers. And, of course, the Minnesota Timberwolves taking on the Brooklyn Nets. And we will do this with 3 of the absolute finest NBA handicappers known to mankind ever created. They literally broke the mold when they gave us these 3 gentlemen. We're talking about Ski Prophet, Rob Vino, and, of course, Stevie, not in the middle, Merrill, today. Shout out to Toasty Sam's. Appreciate you, brother. Thank you very much. We kept him hitting cleanup here today because, well, Vino brings more to the table. Let me talk to you here. Ski, talk to me, my man. How was your weekend? It is $9 Monday at Wager Talk, of course, but talk to me. How was your weekend, man? What do you got going on at Wager Talk?
Well, the weekend, I feel like, was kind of up and down. I think I might have been 50-50 for the weekend, but tonight I do have a best bet up in the NBA for $9 Monday. And actually I have 2 plays up. One is a package and one to subscribers.
Okay, nice. So we got a couple of plays going on there. Pretty decent weekend as we head into this Monday, the final week of March. I can't even believe that. Here we are. We're ended up in March here, Rob Vino. My word, April just around the corner. How was your weekend, my man? And what do you got going on for $9 Monday at Wager Talk?
Yeah, the NBA entire week, Joe, was really good. 16-6 last 7 days. Picked it back up where that's concerned. NCAA tournament, not as good as that for sure. I middled basically the last, 3 days here. Today, up on tap on $9 Monday, we do have I think it's a couple of Elite 8 plays, 1 best bet up and available right now. The NBA card will go up once we're done here. As always, I'm kind of a late afternoon guy when it comes to releasing for clients with the NBA. So certainly it's been good. Hopefully we continue to be good.
Basically, you slow his ass on a Monday is what I'm hearing. Stevie Merrill, talk to me, my man. What's going on? They will be up there, guys. $9 Monday. Take advantage and go visit. Obviously, Rob Vino's page at Wager Talk. But, Merrill, you're not in the middle. That doesn't mean you didn't have a good weekend or that you don't have something of value coming up at Wager Talk today for $9 Monday. What is it, my man?
Yeah, this is a great Monday if you're a hoops fan, a NASCAR fan, whatever you want to be. Baseball, we just did the NL betting preview. I mean, it's loaded. We've got the truck race just happened on dirt at Bristol. We've got the Cup race coming up at 4 Eastern. NBA tonight, Elite 8 on a Monday and a Tuesday. I've got 2 best bets for $9 Monday, and it's a 2-for-1 special. My top college play and my top NBA play, both for just $9. That works out to $4.50 Monday at WagerTalk.com.
Only you would bring up a dirt race in NASCAR on a Monday there on an NBA show, Stevie Merrill. By the way, check out Life in the Fast Lane here on Wager Talk TV, as Merrill is the host of that show, which is why he knows all about dirt. Don't ask me why. Let's start with the NBA Contrarian game and play of the day here on the show on this Monday, guys. And we don't have to look any further than, well, the same damn team that we picked on Friday that happened to be a winner, and that would be the Boston Celtics, finding themselves in an interesting spot here, taking on the New Orleans Pelicans at home. Now, they actually won that game on Friday, and they've actually put a couple of wins together. Ski, you were a big one on Friday. You pointed out that they got to start putting some wins together. They've done that. However, this opened up at 4.5, and obviously news of I think Brown is out. So now Kemba Walker is active. Jaylen Brown is out. The line gets all the way down to 2. It has come back a little bit. I'm seeing 2.5s right now, but it keeps going back and forth here. So do you agree with the big 2.5 point swing in the market for the sitting tonight of Jaylen Brown, or do you think the Celtics still hold some value here in this contrarian spot?
Well, they won't have Jaylen Brown, but they will have Fournier. I believe he's going to be active tonight. But, it's just not really a good spot for the Celtics in this one. Coming off the road trip, for one, it wasn't really long, but never really liked to back teams coming home off of the 4-game or more road trip. And then also, I just feel like it's a letdown spot. Like, another thing I like to fade is rested home teams that won their last game as a favorite, but they had to come back from down double digits to do it. I feel like it's a letdown. Those teams are 30, 52, and 1 against the spread since 2019. So I think Boston's a fade tonight. I think I agree with where the line is gone, and I like New Orleans.
All right, liking New Orleans, and nothing not to like. What are they, winners of 3 of their last 4? They beat a Luka Doncic-less Dallas team over the weekend there, Rob Vino. Your thoughts on this matchup at home as the money continues to pour in towards the Pelicans? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, and not only minus Luka, guys, minus Kristaps in that game as well. So Dallas was pretty well decimated. And I'll tell you what, from somebody who had New Orleans that night, I don't think they were covering that game until there was about 45 seconds left in that contest. I mean, that final margin of 9 points, a little bit deceptive. Dallas with a banged-up crew was there the entire game. But I still think you have to lean towards New Orleans here a little bit, Joe. I think what Boston has done lately as far as offensive output, 111 points or more in 5 consecutive games. But really, it's been far more Jaylen Brown than it has been Jason Tatum. Kemba looked good in 1 or 2 of those games. But without Brown tonight, and I think that causes a little bit of trouble. These 2 teams played one time already. If you take the overtime out of that contest, I mean, if you just look straight at the final, you see 235 points. But without the overtime, there's only 216. It was a pretty low-scoring battle for these 2. Boston's got so many lineup changes from that game, which wasn't all that long ago, February 21st till now. Guys that were in the starting lineup that night that won't be here tonight, Daniel Tice, Tristan Thompson, of course, Jaylen Brown. Marcus Smart didn't play that game. He'll be in. Ski mentioned Evan Fournier. I don't know how quickly he picks up the Dallas schemes. But to me, they're just kind of in scramble mode right now, trying to put 5 together and then rebuild that bench. I don't like the situation for them that much. Lonzo missing hurts New Orleans a little bit, but in that first game, Steven Adams didn't play either, and New Orleans was pretty good. I won't put a lot of stock into their late defensive numbers. Like I say, 1-4 to the under last 5 games. But again, we mentioned Dallas didn't have a couple big guns. They played Portland on back-to-backs. Remember, the first one was the one that New Orleans gave away, 249 points scored. Next night, nobody scored. And the other 2 were against Denver. I think New Orleans is the right side here. Just matchup-wise, personnel-wise, they seem to be in a better spot than Boston is right now.
Interesting. Well, let me get your thoughts on this here, Steve, before we'll talk about the total here in just a second. What do you think of this Boston team in this spot here? They're 4-1 against the number in their last 5. They put a couple of nice wins together. Now they get Fournier and Elida Kemba, who sat out Saturday against OKC, now back in the lineup for them. Do you agree with this market move of 2.5 points towards New Orleans?
It's been over a month or 2, if ever, that they've won. Well, they won 4 straight back at the end of February, early March. But before that, they hadn't won more than back-to-back games for like a month, I think. And now they're off back-to-back wins. I like what Ski said about them coming back home. It's an angle I do kind of use as a filter. I do think overall it's a negative when you're coming back off a 4+ road trip, of a week or more, because it's human nature. You've got stuff to deal with at home, and it's a 1-day layoff here to get back home and play again. So I don't think it's a good setup. However, we keep talking about teams, Joe, that step up without a key player. So in that case, I guess you can make a case for Boston. But I would have mentioned a key player. We haven't mentioned his name yet in this, is Zion Williamson. I mean, he is quietly dominating right now. He has now scored 20 points or more in 23 straight games. He's the only player in NBA history younger than 21 to ever do that. And that includes LeBron, who started, by the way, at 18, I believe, back in the day. So Zion is a force. So, this New Orleans team is playing good basketball right now. 3 out of 4 straight up in ATS. You mentioned the total. We talked about this on Friday's show. Ski had that great angle. The over-unders at home. They had been 18-4, and then they went under in both games, as Rob said. So it's now 18-6 over-under at home. But on the road this year, they're just 9-11, 11-9 to the over. They're just 6-14 straight up versus 14-11 straight up at home. So that would be my concern with the over or New Orleans, which is my preferred side in total in this one, is that the road has not been as kind for either one of those for the Pelicans.
All right, good stuff there, guys. That's the Celtics taking on the Pelicans with all the money and all the tickets heading towards New Orleans' way. No Jaylen Brown for the Celtics. That is our contrarian game and play of the day. And now we'll move on to our angle of the day, courtesy of our good friend, that's right, John Ryan at sportsmemo.com. And, of course, you can catch not only Rob Vino, but Ski as well as Steve Merrill on his show there. He's got a great little podcast there. Great numbers, great information coming your way from our good friend John Ryan. And today's angle has to do with betting on NBA road favorites who are facing an opponent that is allowing at least 103 points per game and is coming off a game in which they led by 20 or more points at the half. This trend, by the way, 39-10, almost 80%. It has to do with both Memphis and Indiana tonight. Memphis taking on the Houston Rockets, while Indiana taking on the Washington Wizards here. Wizards, as you can see there, getting 5 points from the Pacers at home. The Grizzlies laying 8 at Houston. Ski, I'm not even going to ask you because I know it's, oh, hell no, I ain't taking the Houston. Don't even ask me about Houston. But, Steve, let me ask you, man, of these two, that angle in these two games, which one would you be more inclined to look at?
Well, first of all, I think the 103 allowed, I don't like that part of the angle because it's a different NBA this year than it was even last year. I mean, these are the highest scoring games we've seen in recent history. So if you allow 103, you're actually a really good defensive team this year. And I'm sure John, when he did that research, was plugging that in as basically a subpar defensive team. But I still like the angle, and I think you could still use it subjectively. Basically, it means playing against, for the most part, sub-mediocre defensive teams, below average defensive teams. And it shows that if you have a lot of momentum, you're dominating the last game up by 20 at the half, that does carry over. So I like the angle overall for that reason. And, no problem playing against the Houston Rockets. This is a team we've talked about several times over the last few weeks. They did get a win against Minnesota on Saturday as a 4-point dog. I mean, and keep in mind, Joe, we talked about with the Utah Jazz during the monster run. I think the one hiccup they had during that point spread run was when they played Miami the second back-to-back. Otherwise, they covered basically like 17 out of 18. Got to put an asterisk next to this one. The Rockets had just lost to Minnesota the night before. It was a quick double revenge situation there. Other than that, they've only won like one game in the last 20 plus. So not hard to get in front of a bad team like Houston. And when you're playing a decent team off a loss, it's actually a good angle as well. So I think Memphis does make a lot of sense for several reasons there.
Well, Vino, you have said numerous times on this show, Memphis was a play-on team after the All-Star break for you. Based upon, obviously, that angle, any issues backing Memphis in this spot against Houston?
Probably not. I mean, when you have a situation where even Christian Wood is questionable right now, you don't want to be on Houston's side. I think Houston, guys, for what it's worth, has proven how they're going to play the rest of the season. Their tempo is extremely fast. They're scoring a lot of points until there's 7.5 minutes left in the fourth quarter and they decide never to score again. I think that was Friday night when they blew that big lead, but they came back the next night and scored like crazy. So tempo team, but no problem playing Memphis against Houston whatsoever, especially, like I say, no Christian Wood, potentially. Check your injury reports the rest of the way. That could be troublesome for Houston.
I ain't even asking you, Ski. Hell no, I ain't betting on the Houston Rockets. I already know what your answer is. But we keep seeing Indiana with laying points on the road here. Are you a believer in Indiana yet?
Well, Indiana's won a couple games. And, this is the road that I prefer to have Indiana in. You're on the road, get a little discount on the line. And versus these lesser competition teams, I'm looking to back Indiana. So that's what Washington is. They don't have Bertans. And Bradley Beal's even game time decision. So I have no problem with Indiana tonight. I like them to cover.
All right, there you go. Thanks, John Ryan, sportsmemo.com, for sending us our angles of the day. We're going to head over to our featured matchups here, which is going to include a team that completely forgot how to win games. And I know this because they're right down the damn road. They're pissing everybody off down here, that being the Miami Heat taking on the New York Knicks here tonight. Opens up with Miami. Look at this, 4.5 points as a favorite there, taking on the New York Knicks at the Garden here. Total opened up at 208.5. I'm seeing 205s, 204.5 in a lot of spots here. So, Vino, I'm coming to you, my friend here. Miami, the pressure is mounting. Certainly the media down here wants to know, when are we going to start winning games again? It seems like it's been a while. They're now in 8th place. So what are your thoughts about them going into the Garden as a favorite, taking on the Knicks?
Yeah, well, the need to win games. Absolutely, right, Joe? I mean, the 7, 8, 9, 10 play-in, they're actually backing their way out of that at this point in time, right? There's 5 teams right now within 3 games for only 4 positions. So they need to start winning. But in defense of the Miami Heat, it's hard. You could count the number of games maybe on both hands that they've been whole as a unit. And tonight they get Goran Dragic back, which is always a key for this team. It seems if he's in, Jimmy Butler's not. If Jimmy Butler's in, he's not. You know, they traded away Kelly Olynyk, who won't be part of this game now. They substituted that spot with Trevor Ariza, who surprisingly put up 14 points the other night. He hasn't played a lot of basketball this year, to say the least, and he came right out of the shoot and performed well for this team. I think I like him, though, here, Joe, just because of the Knicks personnel situation. Now, we're not positive Julius Randle and Reggie Bullock don't go, but we know Mitchell Robinson's done for the year, right?
Yeah.
Just a terrible injury for the Knicks that happened over the weekend. That means Nerlens Noel has to take over not only some of the minutes, but the bulk of the minutes. If you take a look at the Knicks lineup or rotation, without Bullock, without Randle, without Robinson, which is their starting front line, by the way, 5 of the next 6 guys are all guards. This could be a game where the Knicks are, 6-5 and under. So that makes it problematic for the Knicks, especially since the 2 times they played this year, Bam Adebayo had huge games. And Bam Adebayo had huge games against Mitchell Robinson. So I think there's a big play for him in the middle here tonight. I think he does some damage. And as Miami starts to regroup here a little bit, getting all their pieces together, I think they'll start to take off. There certainly is a sense of urgency for them at this point in time. We'll see if it translates to the floor. Real quick on Tom Thibodeau and the Knicks. It looks like he actually has implemented his drive for the playoffs right into the minds of the Knicks, because they're under the total in 5 of their last 6, which is a characteristic of that head coach, playing really good defense. I just don't know how good a defense they're going to play, definitely without Robinson, or possibly without Julius Randle. You get a bunch of little guys on the floor against the Heat. I don't think they're going to play really good defense. So I could be on over here as well, Joe, but I think I like the Heat in this game. I think my dog likes it too. You could probably hear him.
I was going to say, he's barking over there, but the thigh issue for Julius Randle, even if he goes, won't be 100% here, Steve Merrill. Right. So it just feels like this is the spot. The Miami Heat, I believe, 5-2 against the number in their last 7 visits to MSG. They've already beaten them twice this year, this Knicks team. Just feels like the spot where this is where Miami kind of turns it on. Your thoughts?
Yeah, well, first of all, wouldn't the dog like the Knicks? They're plus 4.5. So I think the dog was disagreeing with Rob on that one. Sake. That would make more sense. I'm just, pointing out the obvious. But here's the other thing. That logic with the Heat, yes, they won, 10 out of 11 games straight up, 8-3 against the spread, and now they've lost 6 straight. 1-point favorite against Memphis, favorite against Indiana, favorite against Indiana again, favorite against at Charlotte, their last game. So that logic at Charlotte the other night, let's snap the 5-game losing streak as a road favorite, didn't work out. They do have 2 days off now. If I was going to play this with Joe Ranieri's money, which is the only way I would play this game, it would be the Miami Heat. But I'm not going to try to catch that falling knife, as Ski knows, with the team that's off 6 straight losses against the spread as a 4.5-point road favorite. New York has won 4 of the last 5, despite being terrible offensively shooting the ball. That would have gotten me leaning towards the under normally, but as Rob mentioned, he said small ball. And when I hear that, I think over right away. So that's going to keep me off the total. But otherwise, I do think the Miami Heat bounce back here tonight, but like I said, Joe, I'm not in the habit of laying points on the road with the team that's on a 6-game losing streak. So Miami Heat, but I would tread lightly.
Yeah, Ski, I got to tell you, first of all, this is like the third show you've done today where you're continuing to make bets with other people's money. We're going to have a conversation about this later during the Best Bet segment. But, yeah, I can tell you it works well. Ski, talk to me, man. We were joking off air about are they ever going to win another game? It just feels like this is the spot for them to do it. Your thoughts on going to the Garden laying 4.5?
Yeah, usually, I mean, I tend to stay away, or I tend to want to fade, actually, teams that have lost 5 or more games in a row. If you've been doing that so far this year, you've been winning 65.5% of the time. So it makes me not want to play Miami. But at the same time, just like Rob said, the injury report for New York is a little bit too much. And if you don't have Julius Randle, I really don't have any faith in New York keeping up. So if he's out, I understand Miami getting the win here. They're 22-24. They need to step it up, Joe, just like you said. So,
hey, man,
it depends on Randall's status.
It's interesting, too, as I'm looking at the live odds page, guys, at WagerTalk.com. It's free. It's a great resource for you. I'm looking at 57% of the tickets and 73% of the money on the New York Knicks. The line hasn't moved, guys. It has not moved. It's at 4.5, and it remains at 4.5. So we'll keep an eye on that one. Meanwhile, we'll move to game number 2 of our featured doubleheader here. How about the Golden State Warriors taking on the Bucks Clippers. Wrong game. Sorry, that would help. I can tell you what game I bet. Bucks versus Clippers in this one with the spread just a 0.5 point is what it opened up at. And I'm seeing 2.5 now for the Clippers. I'm also seeing a total that opened up at 229, and that too has climbed now 231.5 at a lot of spots. So, Stevie, I borrow money in the middle. Merrill, talk to me here about making bets with other people's money on this game. Where are you going?
I use other people's money when I think it's a 50-50 coin flip. Let's put it that way. So, and I'm having to lay minus 110 on that. If it was plus 110, I'd use my own money on the coin flip bet, by the way, if anyone wants to give me that. This one, I will use my own money, though. I like the Clippers here. We've talked about, momentum. That SDQL is pretty cool. Ski 65%. Any teams are all 5 losses or more. That's pretty powerful. That shows why you don't want to be trying to catch those falling knives. Clippers heading the other way, though. They've now won 5 straight. They've covered 5. By the way, the Knicks guys have already gone over their season win total. I believe it was 22.5. Yeah. They're already at 24. I thought of that because in the preview show we did back in December, we said fade the big name teams to the under. Clippers, Bucks, Lakers. We probably should have included the Miami Heat in that role. They were the defending Eastern Conference champs, and they're vastly underperforming, as we just talked about. But it does look like the Clippers are starting to pick it up here as we head into the postseason run about a month from now. And I have no problem continuing to back that momentum. And, normally I'd be worried about the Clippers off 5 straight wins and coverage. This is a letdown spot, but it's the Milwaukee Bucks. It's a power from the East. I think they bring their A game tonight. And Milwaukee appears to be heading the other direction, 1-5 against the spread their last 6. So I will use my own money to back the LA Clippers tonight as the home favorite.
I'm seeing a lot of actives here on the Milwaukee side there. Ski, Middleton, Holiday, Giannis. Oh, DiVincenzo's active too. So you got to go Milwaukee right here.
Well, for one, I do think last time they played, didn't Milwaukee come back and win at the end? So I think Clippers maybe remember that a little bit. I do like that. I mean, Clippers said that Kawhi, I think, said that he wanted some consistency from the team. They've had 5 straight covers. Another thing, I'm not going to repeat the whole trend, but I called it a letdown spot. It's the same thing for Clippers. They had to come back and from double digits to win those games. 30-52 against the spread. I think Milwaukee's going to be up for this game too. And although I don't like Milwaukee versus competition, you're really just asking them to win the game. And they're 13-3 straight up their last 16 games. So I know we always say we don't want them with the spread less than -8, but when they're a dog now, I think that they'll be up for this game. So I would probably take the plus with Milwaukee.
Taking the plus with Milwaukee in this one. Rob, the only thing that scares me Milwaukee is being on the road. They're terrible, and they're not profitable. So how do you approach this game taking on a Clippers team that, for the most part, seems to be healthy here?
Yeah, and I think, back to Saturday night, Joe, it seemed like starting at about 90 minutes before game time, every 20 minutes, the Bucks took another starter off of their lineup in that game. Oh, Giannis isn't going to play. Oh, wait a minute, DiVincenzo's not going to play. Oh, wait a minute, Chris Middleton's not going to play. And it just was a slow trickle until they had nobody left except Brook Lopez. Go look at the lineup that they played with Saturday night. I mean, it's amazing that teams are allowed to get away with that in this league. NFL commissioner got crucified for making the Denver Broncos play without a quarterback, but there's no problem in this league letting teams march a G League unit out there to start a game. But I think they did it intentionally with this game in mind. They probably thought they could get away with a win in that contest because Julius Randle wasn't playing. It didn't happen. The Knicks win that game, so now the Bucks come in on 2 straight losses. I just don't know this is the right place to be for Milwaukee in this game. Ski talked about the earlier meeting. It was probably the defensive game Milwaukee's played against a good opponent all season long. But, I want to preface that real quick by saying these games that are played on Sunday afternoons, a lot of times lend themselves to the under, even though that was a featured ABC game. The 1 o'clock, 3:30 starts generally have a little bit of need for offense. It doesn't come through. In that game, Serge Ibaka played a big role, won't be there for the Clippers. Pat Beverly started, won't be there for the Clippers. So they're minus a couple of guys. But still, I don't think this 5-game winning streak is any coincidence, guys. It's correlates directly to when LeBron went down. And I think the march for a higher spot in the standings started then. We've got a chance to take advantage here. They have. I think they'll play well. The amount of 3-pointers that are going to be hoisted in this game is going to be insane. Giannis had a monster game in that other one, 36 and 14. But LA is the better 3-point shooting team for the most part, and they've been good as of late. I had a number here. They're 46% or better from 3-point range in 9 of their last 11 games. So I think I'd slightly lean Clippers here, and I wouldn't be surprised to see this game get over the total. Even though the first one went under, I think you probably see a lot of points here.
All right, there you go, Rob Vino. Guys, again, reminder, Ski Prophet, Rob Vino, Steve Merrill. Catch him right now at WagerTalk. It is $9 Monday, which means best bets just $9 right now. If you head over to WagerTalk.com, you can visit Ski's page, Rob's page, and Steve's page. And don't forget, of course, 3-day, 7-day, 30-day all-access packages. Never miss a play from these guys. Get notified immediately as soon as the plays get posted right there. Never got to worry about it. 3-day, 7-day, 30-day all-access passes for all 3 gentlemen here at WagerTalk.com. All right, time for our overtime game, and this is interesting, certainly from a market standpoint, and these 2 crap defenses playing one another. What a shock. Minnesota taking on Brooklyn, guys, happens to be our overtime game. The problem is the line. It opened at 239, 239 and a half. It's not moving, and this just feels like a spot where for sure this would have ended up at 243, 243 and a half by this point, but it has not. So let me ask you, I think Kyrie's listed as active here. Let me start with you, Ski. It's got to be over. Minnesota just gave up 129 to Houston. Like, this has got to be over, isn't it?
What happened to Golden State, Joe? You teased the Golden State. We don't get to talk about
that
Golden
was my
State
own
today.
personal play. Don't change the topic. I'll tell you that in a minute. I'll tell you afterwards. Best bets.
All right. Well, in this one, I mean, I feel like we talk about Minnesota every day in this segment. And rightfully so. They want to play fast, and they don't play any defense. So I always say you're not going to have to twist my arm to back Minnesota over the total. They went over 10 of their last 15. I mean, you're betting Brooklyn, they're not going to play much defense either. You know, they have a lot of offense, and it's a number 3 3-point shooting team versus bottom 3 3-point defense. So I'll be over or not in this game.
I mean, Rob, talk to me about the market movement. It just feels like this should have been up 3.5, 4 points already. What's going on in your opinion?
Yeah, I don't know, Joe. And it's crazy that Brooklyn for a long time this season was the highest scoring 4th quarter team in the NBA. And in the second half, in their last 5 games, that's been like a points graveyard where those games have now, the Nets are now 4-1 under in their last 5. And the highest combined total in those 4 unders is 108. I just don't know that you can bank on that against Minnesota, though. It's crazy with Malik Beasley back now. To add offense to that, he served the 12-game suspension, came back over the weekend immediately. They put up 236 combined with Houston, mostly because they don't play any defense, not necessarily because Beasley came in and threw in 30, but his second game here against this team, I think you could see him scoring a lot of points. It's just interesting the way the Nets have, kind of trended toward playing more defense in the second half at this point in time now, Joe. I don't know if that's it's hard to call it a Steve Nash, Mike D'Antoni product, right? I mean, they're not going to, hey, the playoffs are coming. Let's push for defense in the second half. I mean, they could say it. I don't know that it'll happen. It could be a lot of James Harden pounding the basketball while Kyrie was away. Don't know what to make of it. It might keep me off it, though, but you would never, at least I would never, play Minnesota unders at this point in time and in this price range because defensively they're weak. And potential points in their games, I think 4 straight have been over 500. So when you have a chance to score over 500 points in a game, if every shot went in, certainly 239 is makeable.
Yeah, I agree with you there. I mean, Steve, what do you think here, Merrill? Is it is the market telling us something, or is it just over or not for you?
Yeah, it's over or not for me. I would only touch the under with your money, Joe, to put it simply. But as we've talked about many times recently, you need a lot of things to go right, though, when you start getting to this near 240 range with these totals. And that's where we are with this one. But, yeah, once again, it's over or pass for me. Minnesota is a terrible defensive team. Just to put it in perspective, on the season, they're giving up over 60 points per game in the first half alone. I mean, that's what a lot of college basketball teams give up in a game, and they're doing it in the first half on average every game this year. But that's why it's almost 240. But these totals are high for a reason, and it would be over or nothing for me in this one.
All right, there you go. It is Best Bets time, buzzer beater part of the show where we throw 60 seconds on the clock, and we give these gentlemen, anything they want to do with those 60 seconds. The floor is theirs as long as they provide us a best bet at the end of it. So, Ski, you running point as usual, my friend. We'll put 60 seconds on the clock. Break it down for us, my man. Where are you going here tonight? Best bet?
Well, first I want to talk about Golden State now because you got me all worked up, Joe. And I want to ask Rob, too, because, Rob dunked on me last time with Tony Finn. So
that day is coming.
Steph Curry, I don't think he's going to play. They had 2 games off, and they have 2 days off after this. So why would you just put him up to play this one game when he can have an extra couple of days of rest? So I don't think he's going to play. And I look at teams that lost their last game at home. They had 2 days off. They're at home, and they have 2 days off again after that. The under is hit 75.6% of the time. That's on 45 plays going back to 2017. So I always say I guess this will be my best bet now since I've talked about it the whole time. Mm-hmm. But I always say I don't like Golden State's offense without Steph and without Draymond. I don't think Steph plays tonight. And I like those numbers that I read. So Golden State and Chicago under whatever the best number is right now.
228 is what I'm seeing right there. 228. That opened up at 224.5 too. So market continues to go up, 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 up. Ski's going, oh, hell no. Give me the under on that one. All right, Vino, you can rub salt in the wound because he, in fact, was all over the under in Golden State last week when you were on the show, and you kind of challenged them a little bit there. So give us 60 seconds, man. The floor is yours. Vino, where you going?
First off, you piled on, so don't leave yourself out.
No.
Second of all I did was back Tony Finn. I couldn't take it anymore. I had to get involved. But I'm leaving that for when Tony shows up. Hey, listen, I'm going to try to avoid the Twitter wrath of Tasty Sam or Toasty Sam, whatever, and I don't want to blow too much smoke up my ass here, so I'll get on with my play. I think you got to play the Miami Knicks game over, guys. I think the number's too low. If the Knicks march all those guards out there, even if Julius Randle plays, that means points for them. I know that the tempo is slow for both of these teams. I know that Thibodeau's trying to push defense, but it's hard to push defense in this lineup, especially without Mitchell Robinson. And you can only hold the ball for so long. I think Miami, Bam Adebayo can take big advantage here tonight. I think all the guards can get their points in this game. And if Randall does play, he'll get his too. So just taking advantage of the NBA as it's played now with a low number. I'll take Miami and the Knicks over the number.
Going over. Love that. Very nice there, Rob. Very, very nice. And I completely forgot I back skied that day. All right, Merrill, talk to me, my man. Where are you going? 60 seconds on the clock. Watch him dribble around here for a little while. Go ahead, man. Where are you going to go there, Merrill?
Well, yeah, I'm going to get right to the free NBA play here because we have so much going on, as I mentioned here on Monday with NASCAR Dirt, NCAA Elite 8, baseball preview show on Wager Talk TV here. We ran down the National League earlier today. Check that out. But a first half overplay in the Cleveland-Utah game. The betting market has dropped this total several points today. The full game's gone down a couple points. The first half's gone down a basket. Looks like the public and the money's on the under. Cleveland is another one of those teams like Minnesota. It's kind of an over team for me. They're a terrible defensive team. They're not that great off. That's the problem. But everyone in the NBA can score. And Utah, when this monster point spread run ended recently, it's because their defense struggled on the road. They have been better defensively at home, but they can put up a ton of points still. I like the first half over 110 because the altitude could kick in and hurt Cleveland's outside shooting in the second half, and these teams have been higher scoring in the first half. So Cavs, Jazz over 110 for the game, first half. NASCAR Dirt, 4 p.m. Eastern on Fox.
Oh, God.
Little checkered flag.
Oh,
Martin
God.
Truex Jr. swept the truck race. He's a long run well. Bang
Just
it.
buzz his ass, please. Oh, God. What was that? Was that like was that a Matchbox car? What the hell did you put up there? What is that? Oh, my
2008
word.
Richmond race.
Wow.
And I only got two. One for Ski, one for Rob. I'm sorry, Joe. I'll find something else for you. You get the checkered flag.
All right, I wouldn't buy that with my money. All right, one more time, guys. Let's go ahead and just recap.
They were free.
Once again, here we go. Our friends from the Gold Sheet, though. That's right. How can I forget, especially since they're backing the contrarian play of the day. In fact, they're going to go Boston Celtics. Lay the 2.5. In fact, they have a predicted score of 122 to 109 in favor of the hometown Celtics there. That, of course, was our contrarian game and contrarian play of the day. None of the gentlemen here were in favor of the Celtics, though. They kind of feel New Orleans going to be a little bit too much for the Celtics without Jaylen Brown here in this one. Let's recap, though, the best bets here. See, I mentioned Golden State, and Ski broke out in hives, had to talk about him. So he's going under 228 at this particular point against the Bulls. Rob Vino loves the over 204.5. I am absolutely betting that with my money. Heat things over 204.5, while Merrill whipping out, giving us half a game, going with the Cavs, Jazz, first half, going over 110, playing with his Matchbox cards, of course, in the Gold Sheet. 2.5 is what they are laying with the Celtics, and you can get that full write-up, guys, at our Twitter page for Wager Talk. All the Gold Sheet plays of the day's angles of the day can be found there. Make sure you are following us on Twitter at Wager Talk. So there you got it, guys. On behalf of Ski Prophet, Rob Vino, and Steve Merrill, I would encourage you guys to head over to their pages. $9 Monday, best bets tonight from these gentlemen. Just $9. All you got to do is head over to WagerTalk.com. Hop on, try them out. $9 here tonight. The best bets ready to go. And like Merrill said, there's so much going on tonight. There's dirt and more dirt, and that's all I heard. Guys, best of luck with your plays. We'll be back again tomorrow for another edition of the NBA Tip-Off Show. Good luck, guys. Thanks for hanging with us.
Lock in all sports, all plays, all 5% best bets for the next 30 days from your favorite WagerTalk handicapper for only $1.99 versus the regular price of $3.49 for a total savings of $1.50. Prices are already discounted across the board and no coupon is required. Just head over to WagerTalk.com, pick your favorite handicapper in the experts menu, and lock them in for 30 days across all sports for only $1.99.